Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Coffee Talk with Liquid Shano 1973. As you guys know, we get together weekly, if not bi-weekly, where we sit down and we talk about everything from life to strategies to being the best version of yourself and just living life to the fullest and embracing every single moment. And as you know, I promised all of my listeners out there that I would try to have some folks that would come on to the show that I could do interviews with, because it's always been a one-on-one show. It's been me and you and your voice and your ears, my voice, and we've just been talking the whole entire time. But today I've got a guest on here because I wanted to bring him on board because he truly and really inspires me in his story and the hard work and ethic that he does and his personality and everything else. So first of all, I want to introduce you guys all to Java John. And you can see his little face right over here. I've got the video aspect going. I got the audio aspect going. Man, I'm multitasking today. And I got Java John in the hopper with me today on YouTube and on my Facebook page. And I want you guys to welcome him. And John, how you doing today? You doing well?
I'm doing stellar, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. I was going to say morning, but it's afternoon now.
I know. I know, but I drink coffee throughout the whole entire day. So I literally consider it to be mornings all day.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I love it. Right on.
Yeah,
I drink quite a bit myself.
I would hope so.
Not as bad as it used to be. But yeah, well, as you can see, I'm still drinking coffee from this morning. So
it's beautiful. Well, the name of the show here is Coffee Talk, right?
Yeah,
so
right on.
I center around Coffee Talk, and I'll tell you a little bit behind this, John, before we get into like the big meat and potatoes of where we're at with you. I started Coffee Talk because what it was for me is I like to drink coffee in the morning, and I like to sit down and just collect my thoughts. And coffee was a way that I was able to just sit with my own thoughts with nobody else around, just me, my coffee, and just strategize on the day, strategize on my goals and aspirations and different stuff that I'm trying to do. And so that was my blog I used to start called Coffee Talk, and it went into all this other stuff. So the coffee is an integral, important part of my life. You know what? If I don't have any other vices in life, I'll stick with the coffee because the coffee is money for me. It's money for me. Creativity goes into those cups, man. I love it.
Sure. Yeah, look, coffee's money for me too, literally. So I feel you, and it's kind of the same. You know, there's a lot of times whether it's early in the morning, late at night, whatever it is if I'm sitting there and I'm having a internal brainstorming session, or if I'm sitting down with my wife or a partner or whatever, I'm like, man, we got to hash some things out. Coffee's usually involved, and so we.
It's your mediator. It's your mediator.
Well, it's the mediator, and and then I brew in so many different methods. I mean, whether it's just a standard drip pod or a French press or a Chemex or a Yama siphon or whatever. So a lot of times, like I'll go into like a real like intricate brew method and be like, okay, like I'll be doing that because it's second nature. I'll be doing that thing through those things while I'm allowing things to like penetrate the brain and be like, okay, what are the next steps? What do we got to do? How do we keep the ball rolling? And so, yeah, definitely. I feel you. Coffee's beyond literally being my money. Coffee is definitely something that pushes my creative bounds.
So if anybody's watching the video right now, you'll see right behind John's head over there, you'll see a graph over there. Now, he explained this one night when I was watching one of his live sessions on TikTok, and he was explaining the nerdy, intricate, beautiful, wonderful roasting strategies that he was going into, and I was enamored. I was like, whoa, look at the passion this guy has behind every little – listen, if you're in this zone and that zone, it's not good, man. You got to get in this zone right here. So explain a little bit of that. Is that part of your whole entire cooking and roasting strategy?
Yeah, so it's when I order beans – so like when you order your beans raw from an importer, usually they're 99% of the time they're coffee aficionados. Like they're nerds just like me. They've just taken it to the next level of I'm so nerdy, I have a farm. And eventually that's the goal. I want to be old McDonald of someone's coffee farm. And but so they'll put little things on there like the new honey Sumatra we just got. Says in their brief flavor profile, if you roast it light, you can find this. If you roast it dark, you can find this. And then we get it. We roast to what our preference is, a very, very small batch, like a half a pound at a time. And then we let it set for a few days. And then we cup it. And so whenever we go through a cupping, my fingers, I'm used to this, I promise. But whenever we go through a cupping, we pull this off the wall, we set it in
Yep.
front of us, and so that we smell it and we say, okay, what am I smelling? Because
Oh,
whatever
man.
I'm smelling, that's the region that it should be in. Then when I taste it, I say, okay, yeah, I'm smelling floral and I'm smelling fruity. What am I tasting that is floral and fruity? Or I'm
Mhm.
smelling spices. Am I tasting clove? Am I tasting cinnamon? And as you go through that process, you just kind of make notes to yourself so that you can write the nerdy flavor profiles that go on the side of coffee. And there are, like, when you're here, basically from like, this is sour. And so not all sour things are bad, but
Yeah.
generally you don't want sour coffee.
Right.
But every once in a while, if it's sour like a Granny Smith apple, that's not a bad sour, but if it's sour like chemical sour, you're like, oh yeah, we got to throw this crap away. And then
Right.
over here, you can't really see it too well. It gets like brown.
Yeah.
And in there, like there's a couple pleasant flavors in there. Burnt is not always an unpleasant flavor, So I mean, when you're thinking of like, sometimes the bark on the outside of a brisket or on the outside of a steak is the best part. But there's unpleasant burnt.
Yummo.
Yeah, exactly. So like there's some good things in there. So that pipe tobacco, that's pleasant. That's a pleasant smell. If you brew a beautiful cup of Colombian and the smell of it is a pipe tobacco, that's not a problem. But if it smells like, burnt tar,
yeah,
you want to throw. So if we end up ordering something from a vendor and it's anything in the bad range of sour to a bad burnt and everything, and this is all like chemicals, so like really, really putrid nastiness, we throw it away.
Really,
we'll toss 140 pounds of coffee.
Woo! And then you cry while you're doing it, I'm sure.
Well, I've built relationships now with vendors where, one, I trust my importers to not give me crap coffee. And two, if I have questions, like if it's something I've never tried or I'm unsure of or I'm suspect about, at this point, they'll send me a couple pounds, like, hey, give it a shot before you buy hundreds and hundreds of pounds of this stuff. And so we'll cup it like that. So that's kind of the nerdiness of the flavor wheel. But that's that's the Specialty Coffee American Association standard. Like those are the flavors that them and the Coffee Institute say. These are the smells. These are the flavors. This is what we say over hundreds of years of coffee are the things that you find 99.9% of the time.
Yeah, I'm just a big dummy coffee drinker. See, so I don't really know all the technology stuff. But I do, to your point though, I have my own profile and flavors that I like a lot more, right? You and I have talked about it in the past where I ordered the Colombian of yours that was a really dark, coarse grind. I French pressed it. It was amazing.
Right.
And I like my wife likes kind of a little bit more of a bitter flavor, like a darker, like a almost burnt. Because what we've done is we've ordered stuff online before. We've ordered roasting and different stuff. And of course, I'm always trying to dabble in different areas to really make recommendations for some of my listeners and different things. And a lot of them come in very light for me, right? Like a medium roast or a very light, not a lot of coffee flavor. And I'm always not disappointed because I do know that there is a definite profile. A lot of people love those medium and light roasts, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I like the darker roast. And so to your point, I may be a dumb ogre when I'm out there trying to get my coffee. Give me coffee, caffeine, let's go.
Got you.
But I love the flavors that I love. And your most recent or the one that I got from you, the Colombian one, is out of this world. So good.
Yeah, you'd like the Brazil too then. So the Brazil, it's a traditional coffee flavor, but it's way more nutty. And so it brings some of that like light to medium flavor profiles and mixes it with the traditional coffee. So the Brazil is pretty fire.
Love it.
But yeah, so I mean, I whenever you say, you're like, man, I really like a dark roast. I get that, 100% get that. A lot of people do. I call that like a traditional American approach to coffee. So like I know like my grandfather, it's like, and man, I have a lot of older people that order coffee from me and they'll put in the flavor profile. Like, I don't really know what to order, but I like dark roasted coffee. Like I want to like tar. I want to be able to cut through it with a knife. And
I want to chew on my bean.
Yeah, basically. And I'm like, well, I can make it that way. That's fine. But there's been a phenomena in coffee in probably about the last 15 to 20 years. You start having all these specialty shops show up and crop up. And so like the differences in coffee, dark coffee's fine. Most dark coffee all taste very similar. You get that really deep, that good flavor of burnt, that good flavor of dark, that real traditional coffee flavor, high in, high percentage cocoa forward type of thing, where you have cocoa's not bad, but it's bitter. Dark chocolate's not bad, but it can be really bitter. So it's kind of that good bitter forward. And then when you get into mediums and lights, the reason I like mediums and lights is that's when you can taste the region. And so to me, all dark coffee tastes about the same. So I'll get a cup of dark coffee. That's why when you go to diners, it's usually all dark coffee. Every diner across America is like, oh, just a decent dark cup of coffee. But when you start getting, so I have the ability now, and I'm not great at it. People are way better than me. But 9 times out of 10, if it's light to medium, I can pick it up and tell you what region it's from.
Get out of here.
You can taste the region. So African coffees are super earthy. So you get a light Ethiopian, you're gonna pick up some sweet, you're gonna pick up some stone fruit, kind of in the aftertaste, and you get like a real dry mouth feel a lot of times from African coffees, but it's really earthy. Like you eat it and you're like, man, I feel like I'm a vegan. I'm tasting Mother Earth, and so you can tell those things. You start getting into South American coffees, and they're really full bodied, really rich coffees, and you can taste those things when they're roasted medium to light. You can really begin to taste the differences between regions. And so that's why I do a lot of light and medium coffees. And I encourage people this is the highest compliment you can give to a coffee roaster.
Tell me more. Tell me. Yes.
I encourage people to always try my coffee first black. Because I would say, and me and my wife both, we get like goose pimples. Because we have all the time people send us messages and say, I appreciate what you did. It's the first time I can drink coffee black and enjoy it. And because people are always trying to get away from creams and trying to get away from sugars, but coffee is kind of gross. It's an acquired taste. But when you start getting into those lights and mediums and really appreciate what they are, it's fine. But a lot of people like yourself like a traditional, dark, robust cup of coffee. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's when I started getting the lights and mediums.
So now what you're doing now what you're doing for me now is that, and now it's almost like a challenge for myself to say, oh, wait a minute, I want to know the regions. I want to know where this comes from.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and I think part of that is understanding that just like everything else in life, coffee is not all supposed to taste the same.
Right.
Like if all coffee tastes the same, then we're doing it wrong. And so whenever we get into this habit of basically burning coffee, taking everything to a second crack into a French roast and saying, oh, it's going to be here because we know that's what people traditionally like.
Right.
Like the specialty coffee roasters are trying to break that mold of saying, listen, we know what you've been trained to like, but we can show you better.
Right.
Like if you want, you can go burn a sirloin if you want to, or I can take that exact same sirloin for you and put a little bit of love on it and bring it back to you medium rare. And you go, oh my gosh, why does that taste so much better? And so, so there's nothing wrong with enjoying that good dark cup, but man, sometimes a cup of coffee that's a little bit tea-like that'll kick you in the junk with caffeine and really wake you up in the morning. It's refreshing. So
I love it.
Differences.
If anybody's listening to this right now and you're not feeling the passion that he has for everything that's there, I swear to you right now, it's coming out of the sides of my computer and my screen right now, which I love. And so this is one of the reasons why when I first found you on the app called TikTok, if anybody doesn't know that, that's where I found him at.
I'm crazy.
When I first found you, not only are you funny, not only you have like lots of different funny videos that you do. I want to talk a little bit about that piece of it, because when I found you there, I was like, okay, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Like, I know he does coffee. You could see that he does coffee, but there's comedic stuff in there. There's, roasting coffee. There's social media awareness. There's strategies. There's brand awareness, all kinds of stuff. Cause I always look at that kind of stuff anyway.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about what TikTok itself has done for you and your whole entire strategy and your business strategy of where you're at.
TikTok has completely changed our business strategy.
And
it's TikTok was a whim for us, man. We downloaded TikTok 1 month and 2 weeks ago. And so we're about maybe 3 weeks. June 6th, we downloaded TikTok. I posted my very first video. It was of me doing something stupid with my beard, and it was nothing. I think it did like 700 views, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." People wanted me to watch me sing a song with my beard.
Yeah.
And and then we did I remember doing it because when I quit my job, I started doing real estate school to have something kind of as a plan B of like, okay, if I need to make a little supplemental, I can do something that I control my time. And I was sitting in we have a 1963 Shasta trailer that we have restored to a food truck. And I was sitting in there roasting coffee on a little Beemore 1600.
So was it a coffee?
One,
Was it a coffee truck that you had? Like, so it was okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, if you go to my website, JavaJones.coffee, I have a picture of it on there, and we're
Love
going
it.
through the process of getting it legal right now to sling coffee. But I was sitting in that trailer, and I was tired of watching Real Estate School. I was tired of taking the quizzes. I was tired of watching Netflix. I was tired of reading books. I was tired of listening to music, and I just went, oh man, I was like, what is this TikTok thing these kids are doing these days? And I downloaded it and I started scrolling through it. I was like, okay, lots of half-naked people, block that.
Right.
In my world. And then I started noticing that the more I went through it and liked people and followed people, they literally did start sending stuff through their algorithm to my FYP that I liked. I was like, okay, these people are funny. These business owners have passion. I like entrepreneurs. I started really enjoying the process. And finally I was like, okay, I'm making my first video. And then I made a video where I talked about me quitting my job, where I was like, boo. And I was like, quit my job during the pandemic to follow my dream, to start. It was dumb. It was like 7 seconds. And like right now it's about to hit 400,000 views.
Wow.
And it has over, it's like 30,000 likes.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is, John? Why do you think
well, because people are desperate right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now the world is desperate and they need hope.
Yes.
And I think that when people see that during this pandemic, during this time of uncertainty, during this time of personal and professional upheaval, that somebody had the guts to say, you know what, I hate the way life currently is. I'm going to step out and figure this out. And if I fail, well, then I'll just hate life some more and I'll go back to the rat race.
Right.
I think people saw that. And during this time of hope, they're like, okay, I like this. This is good stuff. Like I want to be a part of this journey. And man, in the 6 weeks, 7 weeks we've been on the app, man, we're about to hit 20,000 followers.
20,000 in like a month and a half, my friend.
Yeah, we're about to hit 20,000. We have we have 170, 180,000 likes. I was looking at the analytics. We have over 2 million views in the last 28 days. And it's freaking insane. And so it's been incredible. The community of TikTok, like honest to God, if you are a small business owner and you do a lot of online sales, if you're not on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, you're full. I mean, it's where it's at, man. Everybody's at home right now. They can't come to your shop. And if you're not actively posting, you're crazy. It would be worth, like, I'm this close to paying some people to start running my social media for me because it's becoming overwhelming. And I mean, it's like I'm waking up every single morning to 300 messages that people expect me to respond to.
So almost TikTok. Like an answering service for it, right? As they're doing it.
Yeah. It's like there's some that I definitely want to respond to myself, but I almost like I'm literally like I'm this close to hiring somebody to do social media and shipping and receiving.
Right.
To where I can say like, hey, listen, if it's something that's super personal, I need to know about it. I want to respond to it. But if it's just I love the vid, like it, and give some thumbs up or some smiley faces or, and help a brother out. Cause it is, the whole aspect of the TikTok stuff has become, in a good way, overwhelming. I love the people there. Like I'm live on there right now. I love connecting live with those people. We started getting fan art. You're one of the people that did it. But since you did that, we've received like 7 other pieces of fan art.
That's so
it's
great.
Like, it's so crazy, and
that was mine. I don't really have a niche. Mine's all about positivity, as you know, and you've popped in there and even duetted a couple things and stuff like that. So for me, it's all about positivity. It's all about being the best version of yourself and really digging in and really finding yourself. And what to your point, what you just said a second ago, for any business owner that's out there, please take note in the fact that social media, it should not intimidate you, and don't let it make you run the other direction. Even if you're not a very savvy social media. I mean, John's got a rapport. Like literally he gets on there and he makes fun of himself and he has fun and he's just like, here I am. Listen, guys, I'm me. Shirt's coming off. It doesn't matter. Let's go. Right. Or whatever. But on the same token, like on my end, where most of my stuff in the mornings are pretty serious, hey guys, let's kick today off. Let's do it really well. What I found all of a sudden is now I have all these people that were on TikTok that have now migrated over to my podcast now. And they're literally sending me messages going, I love your podcast. I'm inspired by it. I had a veteran the other day say, you saved my life, because I sat back and I was just empty and it just felt like I had no hope. And I'm like, wow, man, the impact that we could have with social media, you're using to the fullest advantage, not only for business, but also to be social and to be connecting, right?
Yeah, no, it's awesome, man. I mean, I'm making great friends. You know, I'm on your podcast right now.
I
But I mean, I'm meeting people like you. You know, there's tons of other creators on there that,
yeah.
I mean, I have their cell phone numbers. I mean, we
Right.
text back and forth.
Yep.
We FaceTime each other. We talk. It's weird to me.
It is.
That how it's gone that way.
These are your internet friends.
Yeah,
These
they are my internet friends. But but how valuable is that during this time? Like how valuable? I'm a social butterfly. So I'm the kind of guy that I will go sit in a coffee shop, and if I'm by myself and you're by yourself, I will talk to you.
Yeah.
And if I can tell you're not interested in socializing, but if I see you sitting there by yourself reading the paper, like, hey, what's going on, man? Good morning. How are you?
Yes.
What's you reading there? What's going on? I'm just that kind of guy. I can't do that right now.
Nope.
Like with the COVID stuff, I go in, I sit in a coffee shop, I sit for lunch, pull my mask down, and start eating. I talk to somebody, and they're like,
everything's blocked off.
Oh yeah, man. My new thing now is when I go to the grocery store, I'm at the coffee shop, and I'm getting something to drink and have my mask on. I'm like, can you tell I'm smiling? Because I'm smiling. Like, I'm a super happy guy. I hope you're happy. I hope you have an amazing day. And I'm like, watch my eyes. If you watch my eyes, you can tell I'm smiling. See, now I'm not. And I play with them. And I miss that. And TikTok has been that for me. TikTok has been, like right now on live, like being able to go in and converse with people on live on TikTok and be like, I love you guys. You're amazing. And I want to hang out with you. People from TikTok are coming over and watching this show right now. And, like me and my wife, we've started going on doing little coffee things in the morning. She comes on me sometimes. Man, like this morning we did a coffee thing with my wife, and, we had like 50 people at one time come in, and just
crazy.
Man, people are yearning for community.
I agree.
And coffee shops are usually part of that community.
I agree.
Which you can't right now.
Nope.
And so that's why things like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook are just blowing up right now, because people are craving community.
You brought up something that's really interesting to me, because when I first moved to Portland, Maine, I was living up in northern Maine. My wife and I were up there, and I got a job down in southern Maine. So down in southern Maine, there's a lot more population down here, and there's a lot more little coffee shops everywhere. And when I moved down first without my family, they were up there. We were kind of closing up on the house and stuff like that. And I moved down southern Maine. I got down here. First place I went to was a coffee shop. Right. The first place I did, because I said, you know what? I know that I'm going to get the inside scoop, or I'm going to be able to really meet some people, make some connections or whatever. So I did a coffee shop almost every day, where I went at the end of the day at like 4 or 5 o'clock. I went and sat down during coffee happy hour, right to the end when everybody's getting off of work and whatever else. They would come in for a cup of coffee, or in the mornings before I head into work. And you're right. It was a communal, social, really good feel to everything. And it helped me. So you're right. I think that people are looking for that right now, because they're starving. We're boxed in. We got nowhere to go. That's
exactly right. We're boxed in. We can't see people. People are craving community. And I always bash social media because it's really not community. I mean, it gives people this sense of faux community. But right now, faux community is all we can have. And so people are finding a way to take that fake community builder and actually turn it into real community. And it's cool. I mean, that's why I have 20,000 followers after less than 2 months, is because I'm passionate about people and community. And so I think that when people watch my videos and they come to my lives, they realize that this guy actually cares about me. Like he's just a dude. He just wants to be a part of life. And I'm not better than anybody. And I always want to make sure that that's very, very real, relevant, and present.
Yeah, but you're honest. You're also vulnerable. You also wear your emotions on your sleeve, and the thing like I think that's where a lot of connection with a lot of your top maybe people in TikTok anyway. The people that are connecting, those high influencers, those people that have just grown a big following, is because the other people they feel like you care.
Yeah, that's
you care about me. I care about you. Even if we're living across the country, there's something to that. You know what I mean? That's pretty amazing.
Huge. No, it's absolutely huge, man. And that's been nuts. Because that's what's been cool about TikTok is we do quite a bit of stuff in local sales. We got a good following here locally. Not huge because we're just starting. Like my business we started June 1, full on June 1.
Right.
And we just
I definitely want to talk about that for a second, because that's going to be
for sure. Yeah. It's the biggest part of my story. But because of TikTok, right now it's like 80% of our sales we ship from Oregon to Maine. I mean, it's insane. Like I just ordered a scratch off map from Amazon so that we can scratch off all the states that we've shipped to.
That's so cool.
And, it's because I want to be able to start putting that on TikTok of hey, Idaho, where you at? Like or even on your food truck.
have a
Yeah.
map
Oh,
of the
yeah.
United States and have
Yeah.
pins of
That's
everywhere
exactly
you.
right.
What?
Yeah, that's exactly everywhere we sold coffee. Because we're getting close to all 50 states. Like we're
That's
close.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it's
amazing.
insane. Yeah, I mean,
That's
like
so
I
good.
went yesterday and roasted 85 pounds of coffee, and most of it sold.
I was
And
watching you do it. It was almost mesmerizing when you had the spinner going right
yeah,
inside. You had the beans coming in the window, and I was like, "Oh, look at that!" I think I think I posted on there. I said that is so satisfying to watch that process happen. And then you
it's
opened up the chute, and all of it rolled in, and I'm like, "Oh, I can only
yeah,
imagine what that smells like right
it
now."
smells amazing, man. It's roasting coffee is like one of the most for me, and it's just the adage of if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Roasting coffee for me is fun and it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
Like it, like
So
I
how'd you
just
get into it? How'd you get into it? How'd you
yeah,
start?
man. So I started roasting coffee 8 years ago because I really, really like great coffee, and
Mhm.
great coffee is expensive.
Yeah.
Starting at $20 a bag for 12 ounces.
Yep.
And that's the kind of coffee I like. And so 8 years ago, we lived in it was a 700 square foot, 3-bedroom, tiny home, itty bitty little home. And like our yard was bigger than our house. And I mean, significantly bigger. And we couldn't afford anything. We were broke. And so I bought a air pop popcorn machine. Please don't do this. If you want to learn, I will teach you, but you will catch your house on fire.
Please do not do this.
Yeah, I bought an
PSA.
air popcorn machine. I bought my first bag of green coffee. I ruined almost an entire pound of coffee, and then I started roasting a third a cup at a time, and I got good at it. And
Yeah.
I mean, to the point, I mean, not great at it, but
Yeah.
I got good at it to the point where we'd have friends and family over, and they'd be like, "Bro, this is amazing. Where'd you get this coffee?" I'm like, "Oh, I made it." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I know you made it. Like, where'd you get it?" I'm like, "No. Like, I roasted it on my back porch." And then friends were like, "Well, can I get some?" I'm like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Take me a minute, but I'll roast it." And so we kind of got into it that way. And then we moved to Alabama. And when we were there, we had a church that wanted to do a fundraiser. They were going to Uganda. So we ordered 100 pounds of coffee. I roasted 100 pounds of coffee on an air pop popcorn machine. Don't do that either. And we sold it, and they raised a couple grand for their trip to send people to Africa. And then I upgraded my machine to a Bmore 1600, which will do a pound at a time, but it takes about a half hour to do a whole pound because it has to heat up, it has to cook it, has to roast it, has to cool it. The cool cycle 17 minutes. And so you're talking 30, 45 minutes for 1 pound of coffee.
Right.
I've been roasting on that for the last 6 years.
Wow.
And and so, but man, we've lived everywhere. So I work with Lifeway Christian stores, and with them, I moved from Texas to Alabama to Georgia to Phoenix, Arizona, and then they closed all their stores, and we came back to Texas. So we've never been able to. We've always had like a real small cult following of our coffee, but we've never been able to stay somewhere long enough to really solidify our brand. But coming back to Texas after 8 years allows us to solidify that, because this is home. This is where our friends are. This is where our personal network is. This is where our family is. Like all the people that I went to high school with, those are the people that are like in City Hall now. Those are the people that are like running the town.
Oh yeah, so of course.
The connections are there that I need, to be like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do it right? Hey, how can you help me? So that always helps. But yeah, that's kind of how we got started.
That's great. Oh, so one of the things I heard you say the other night, I was on a live with you, and you were describing one of the things you said kind of really quickly, and it kind of skimmed over it. What I love about it is that you live and believe in, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but you live and you believe in the fact that you don't need a top shelf education. You don't need all the degrees and whatever else. You just need hard work, grit, and dedication to the things that you love to do. Right.
Well, I'm only high school educated. I don't have a college degree.
Yep.
But with that, I mean, I worked my way up in a retail chain, became a district director, was over all stores from Denver to the Pacific Ocean, had 500 employees at any given time. That was real good job. The job after that I had was 6 figures. Above. And I don't have a degree. I just bust my tail. I'm good with people, and I have a good work ethic. I always tell people that if you're high integrity and high energy, you can do anything. You can learn anything else. And so that's how I hire people. I hire high energy, high integrity people. I can teach you coffee. I can teach you retail. I can teach you how to sell. But I can't teach you to have integrity, and I can't teach you to have high energy. I can't teach those things.
Right.
And you can't fake integrity. You can fake high energy.
Yeah.
Some of the best people I've employed were like genuinely like scared of the world, but whenever they came to work, they turned it on. and then
Right.
it exhausted them and they went home and crashed. And but yeah, if you can do those things, if you can have high integrity, if you can fake high energy while you're working, you can do anything. You just gotta grind, man, and you gotta love what you do.
I love it. I love all this whole conversation because I mean it's relatable to anything we're doing, right? Whether it's in business, in life, and whatever else. And I work on my regular job, the regular job that I have that I do very similar. I'm a district manager or an area manager for a cell phone company. So I travel all the way throughout the state, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. So all the way throughout the area. But this is my passion. And one of the things, it's funny, my boss that I currently have right now always relates the two together. She says your podcast and your public speaking and your energy and your passion behind helping people and doing everything you have to do really relates to whatever you're doing anyway. You're going to be successful with whatever you do because you're driven and you're focused that way. And I love the perspective of where you just brought with the fact that anybody that puts the work in, right? I have this mug and it's in the dishwasher downstairs now. I got it from an artist on TikTok, and on there it basically just says do the work, right? Because you got to be able to do the work, learn, keep your mind and ears open, and keep on moving forward. You're a perfect example of that. More specifically, listen, you make coffee, right? You make coffee. You jump on an app called TikTok. You pop in there, and then in a month and a half, you have 20,000 people that are following you and are engaged with you and are like, this guy, there's something about him that's resonating with people. That's a American success story, if you ask me, or a true success story where you're at. That's amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's, you can say it. On my end, I'm like, oh, I'm a success story. I feel really prideful.
Right.
So, I mean, I feel like because we've definitely over the last 2 months, we've been successful. We've been fortunate enough that, like, I was telling a friend yesterday, I was like, man, like I know a lot of friends that have started businesses that it's taken years and years and years for it to pan out. Our second month, we paid ourselves more than we made in our last job. And so not including bonuses, but like our salary,
sure.
Like, okay, this is what I make. I can live on this. Bonuses, icing on the cake. But we made more than we made more this in July so far. We've been able to take from our business and put in our personal account as a paycheck more than we would have made from our previous job.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen when you first start business.
No, it doesn't. Everybody,
that's amazing.
Yeah, everybody was reaching out. I was like, dude, you cannot quit your job. You're not going to be profitable for 3 years. And I was like, watch me. I love that. Watch me. And then because people are like, what are you going to do if you can't pay your bills? Like, I'll stock shelves at night. Like, who cares? Like, I'll go. I'm not above going to Walmart or HEB and stocking shelves overnight so that I can grind all day doing coffee to be successful. Like it's okay. Like watch me.
You've got me amped right now, man. I'm about to jump up and down in my seat right now and say, yes, follow this right here. Watch me. I love it.
But you have to carry that every day.
Yes.
It can't be a once in a fleeting moment of you're pissed off at somebody. You're like, oh yeah, well, watch me. Check this out. And then the next day, you're like, oh man, I'm kind of down. But dude, it's been amazing for us, bro. Like, we turned a profit so far, and it's not profit. I mean, I got to pay some people back. I got to pay my bills. But I'm not having to pull from savings to do those things. That's profit. And I mean,
you set goals, right? You had some goals set out with the fact of I wanted to sell this many bags. By like whatever it was. I think you were talking about it one night, and you've surpassed that, if not blown that out of the water. Can you tell me more about that? Like what your goals were?
So we sat down and said, if we sell between 6 and 8 bags a day, we'll pay our bills, but not our mortgage.
Yep.
And we have enough money in savings to pay our mortgage for a little while if we need to.
Yep.
But now we're averaging probably 25 bags a day.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, it's stellar. And so we've smoked that goal.
I'm gonna put the website, guys, on the YouTube page real quick. I'm gonna throw it up there just to make sure that you guys know where to go to get some of the coffee here. Right there, javajohns.coffee. www, and you can order right from there and find out a little bit more about the business. But that's just for you guys to be able to go into. I know we've had some comments coming in, John. I want to go through a couple of them, okay? Just with you, so that way we can do it. So basically, this one here says, you both love helping others, and it's contagious. A great coffee and positivity. Loves that part of it, right? I think one person was talking about your Rwanda Peaberry, right? Rwanda Peaberry.
Good coffee.
Nicole Knightley says, try the Rwanda Peaberry. It's so delicious.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Love sweet medium coffee. Here's another one that said, I love this one. This one from Jordan, my buddy from out West Coast. He says, I love that this is more than just coffee. Continue to inspire, provide, and make a difference. Thank you. Look at that.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah.
That's the big, that's the real deal right there. And I love that so much. So, okay. So we're talking about business wise, we're talking about you, your passions of what you found, where you found that passion with coffee, because you love good coffee and you wanted to be able to kind of play in that space. You know, what's funny is I love where, what you just brought up. I'm a side hustle brewer. So I do beer. So I have this, I was doing it in buckets and I was doing all kinds of different things. I was doing some IPAs and some double IPAs. And I was, so every Halloween, what I do is I do like it's a pumpkin porter. Right. And I put like a dark one and some pumpkin spices in there. And I started brewing it, and I did it on my kitchen, and I was just doing it for the neighborhood really. And I was, everybody that would come over for our big Halloween party, I'd give out the bottles to everybody and whatever. And so all of a sudden, all these people are like coming back for more, and they're like, hey, give me some more of that, much like your story. Right. Yeah. But I've never really thought about getting into it like professionally.
Start a brewery.
It's a passion. You know what I mean? I love making good beer.
I get it.
And so I just bought it's a single fermenter where basically you start it off in one contraption and everything goes through one, and you could take out different pieces to it. And the fermentation process, it takes time, and it has to be super clean, and everything has to be like all the details have to be finite. But I love it because what you just said a minute ago was where it started off, where you just started off just small little, I'm going to throw this thing together, became a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And you were like, man, this is something, I'm finding a passion behind this. And this is really cool. And people loved your stuff. And you had that little cult following. And now through TikTok and everything else, man, watch you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just watch me. Yeah, that's cool. So if you need some coffee for like a coffee porter, we can hook that up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for real. But no, I've dabbled in, home brewing and, trying to make beer, and it's been okay. It's not been great. I'm way better at coffee.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love just seeing people follow their passions is all. And right. So like I followed mine, I hated my last job, loved working for Lifeway, hated selling tools for Hilti. Great company, not bashing them. Like probably the healthiest job I've ever had. Like really? Culture wise. Yeah. They're truly incredible. I just don't like outside sales. It's not my jam.
Right.
But I did it with integrity. I did it well, made a ton of money. But I hated it every second. So I had to step away from that. But man, ever since leaving, ever since we stepped out and pursued dream, and started living what we love every single day. Like my blood pressure's gone down. I don't have to take as many pills. I was on a couple of different pills for anxiety and depression. I've not taken those in over 2 months.
Wow.
And I've been fine. I've not reeled. I've not had any like random episodes. I've not had any panic attacks. And so like I've for the first time in forever, I've not been on that. I don't go to any counseling anymore. No. Or anything like that. So it's just like, and that's just real life
change.
Yeah, it was, and it's just real life. Like my wife was like, you're a happier person. And it's like, we make less money, but you're happier. Because life's not about you can put on golden handcuffs if you want to. But I refuse.
I heard you say that before, the golden handcuffs.
Yeah. Yeah. You can put on golden handcuffs if you want to. But man, I had to unlock those things, man. I didn't like to be owned.
It wasn't healthy for you.
Something. And not healthy at all. And don't get me wrong, I want to make money. But I don't need to be rich. I want to make enough money to pay my bills, feed my family, I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck, but I don't got to be a gazillionaire. I don't have to be able to go down and buy all the new things. I want all the new coffee things, but now those are write-offs, and so it's all right.
So there's strategy behind those things. Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, and then even other little things, like I'm working on a coffee-based barbecue sauce with a guy, and and so like when I buy barbecue sauce from him, I buy it on the company card as business expense.
You're taking away one of my secrets of one of my rib rubs, man. I put some coffee grounds in with my rib rub.
Yeah, I got a rib rub coming to me. I got a coffee rub coming to me in the mail from BeerBQ.
I better get some direct shipping for some of this. I would try some of this.
I love it. Yeah, so the coffee barbecue sauce is stellar. It's another TikToker that's making it, dude. It's Felix with BeerBQ.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah, and so he put together a coffee barbecue sauce. It's stellar. I had it the other day. My son wanted wings for his birthday, so I smoked some wings, and that was one of the sauces that I used. I have a coffee barbecue rub coming in. Partner with Awesome Beard Care, sending him some coffee. He's going to make some coffee scented beard oils and balms and washes. And
look at these opportunities. Listen again, guys. Look at the note that I just posted there for you, John. Right there, that the person wrote. This is inspiring me to start my own business. So any of you entrepreneurs, business owners, or anything, this is a perfect example of using the resources that you have at your disposal and don't sell it short. Everybody stays like, I hear it all the time. I do podcasts, but I'm on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Everywhere. I got fingers in every pot, right? But people always say, well, how do you even handle that? I'm like, listen, if you're passionate about enough what you do, you'll figure it out fast, right? Now, to your point, it does get overwhelming a little bit, right? So you got to kind of see how I'm going to navigate through that. And maybe down the road, if it grows into whatever I need it to grow into, I can hire somebody to be my social media, navigator. But the other key to it is I was going to bring that up when you had said it earlier, you're the face of Java John's Roasting, right? Yeah. You're the energy. You're the passion. You're what people are attracted to. People go, oh, this guy's the best, right? What I find with some businesses that get into the social media space, when they get to a certain point, they lose sight of that a little bit, right? I've seen it so many times, and I'm like, listen, I don't want to not have you to look at anymore, right? It kind of gets pushed off to the brand and things like that. And it's not a bit of advice to you. It's just me to you, because I also resonate with you. Keep going, man. Keep going with your end, man, because I love it.
I had that exact same conversation with somebody yesterday, actually, about a coffee roaster. Really? There's a coffee roaster. I'm not going to name who, obviously. That I love and have a lot of respect for. One of the reasons why I started roasting coffee. But they've grown so big, you don't see them anymore. Ever. They're literally just a painting on the wall. So you don't hear their name. They've actually hired roasters, and so they just roast to their computer saved roast profiles, which is fine. I might get to the point where I have to get some help later. But I had a conversation with somebody yesterday because they're giving me all these things like, we need you to do this, we need you to do this, we need you to do this, we need you to do this. Hey, I said, I have to focus on two things: roasting coffee and brand recognition.
Right.
Those are my two big whys for the company. And I was like, and if I can do everything else for you after I do those two things, that's fine. But that's what we're going to do from now until eternity. And I have to stay in front of it because I know, it's prideful to say maybe, but I know that I'm the face. I know that I'm the energy. I know that I'm the excitement.
Absolutely.
I know that I love people and people love me. And so I have to stay there. And I love coffee. People drink my coffee because I'm passionate about coffee.
Yes.
They have literally 10 billion other choices in America that they can go to and be like, I want Steve's coffee over in Virginia, but they're buying my coffee.
Or my local guy down the road.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
That's exactly what did it for me, is when I sat down and I said, okay, you know what? I already told you. I opened it up with the fact that I was skeptical about ordering online coffee. I've been let down a few times. And I'm like, okay. Sure. So when I asked you, I said, I like a darker brew. And you're like, you know what? Let me send you this one here, the Colombian one. I said, okay, great. Ordered it, got it shipped out. Like I said, it's one of the best ones that I've had. And it was funny because I wouldn't have taken that chance if it wasn't for the connection that I felt with you that was there. One of the big businesses that you can talk about that this is a great example of, Ben and Jerry's, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Multi-million-dollar, hundreds of $1 million, right? Mm-hmm. Those two guys have literally been the face of that business, and they're in the face, and they're on commercials, and they're in the face. And to this day, they could literally step away and retire for the rest of their lives because of all the money that they've made from it. It doesn't matter. Their mission statement is, we're the brand. We're bringing that to the table. People love us, right? Mm-hmm. Same exact thing as an example here. Don't lose sight of that in business in general, right?
Well, and that's kind of ours. It's like, I'm the brand, and our mission statement is that I'm going to help you find the best cup of coffee you've ever had. I want to help you find your best cup. So if you do a regular drip pot, if you do pour over, if you do French press, if you make K-cups, I want to make sure that Java John's is the freshest and best cup of coffee that you get to have. And that's why I have special requests on our site. If there's I had somebody today that was like, well, my husband's overseas and he only drinks Turkish coffee. I said, well, I can do that.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? And I was like, all that is really dark coffee, and it's grind finer than espresso. And I was like, my grinder, my commercial grinder that I have has a Turkish coffee setting on it. Like, I can hook you up. Basically, she's like, oh, and so she ordered coffee and put Turkish in the special request.
Get out of here! I love it.
Yeah, so we want to make sure. So and I'm very, very intentional. I could roast in giant batches. I roast in small batches because I want them all to be the same. And then if you need something special, I want to be able to do something just for you. And so that's what we want to do. If I get up to where I'm roasting 15 hours a day again, I'll buy a bigger roaster. And so that's what we are. So that's our vision. Like, I'm the face, and we want you to get the best cup of coffee you've ever had. And so that's our goal. Now, I can't refund everybody's coffee if you're like, well, this isn't the best I ever had. But if you will communicate with us and say, hey, this wasn't my jam. Here's what I didn't like. I can do one of two things. I can make a recommendation you will like, or I can roast special for you. And because I get people all the time that come into live feeds and they're like, hey, what I like? And I'm like, well, what do you drink? Tell me what you drink. Because I'm not going to make anything that tastes like Dunkin'. I'm not going to make anything that tastes like Starbucks.
Totally agree.
But if you like the Dunkin' original or you like a Starbucks blonde, well, then I know which one of mine that you need to order that's going to be similar and I think tastes better.
Yep.
And it's definitely going to be fresher. You know, and I can tell you, oh, you like the Dunkin' original? We'll order our Mexican Tiger. That's a really beautiful medium. It's going to come out similar. It's going to be a great taste. Oh, you like the blonde? Order our Ethiopian. It's a really light roasted coffee, just like that, but it's going to be better because the blonde there is actually a medium and it's not a blonde, you know, and, you know, things like that. And, you know, even with dark roast, even like a Colombian, you go get a Colombian at a big roaster, it's burnt coffee. Your Colombian is not burnt. The Colombian that I sent to you, like I drop it at it gets to 151 to 451 degrees, and I drop it. I let it finish cooking while it's cooling, so that it doesn't burn, so that it doesn't pop, so that it doesn't pit. And it turns out as a really good coffee. And so there's a lot of love into
a good steak, right? You take the steak off, you let it continue to cook while it's there. It's the same concept, right? Yeah, that's
exactly right. And so the goal is not to over roast, overcook, or anything. Give you the best product possible. And that's what we do, man. That's our goal.
Check out this comment right down here from Paul. If you could see it, it's not just coffee. It's Java John himself that we gravitate to due to his passion to succeed and positivity towards people.
That's kind, Paul. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
That's a big deal, man. That's a big deal. Those are those humbling moments, my friend, where you go.
They are the humbling moments.
Yes.
Those are the humbling moments.
In here. Let's see.
Yeah.
First time I've heard of them. I like them already.
Oh, thanks,
Pam says Java John, love Java John.
Thanks, Pam.
Try the Peaberry. There was another one that said, don't forget about our coffee soap collab.
Oh yeah. I think that was Katie. I don't remember. I have so many people. I have so many collabs in the works, and I have a lot of people wanting to collab. So like, if you're a bearded dude, check out the Beard Bento box. Like they're sending me a box. I'm looking at putting sample packs of stuff in what they send out to Bearded Brothers. You know, so we're getting into that market of doing subscription boxes and all sorts of stuff. And so that'll be coming to us soon. We're working, hopefully by the end of this weekend, we'll have a sample pack on our site for $25 where you can sample 6 of our coffees before you buy. And then hopefully by the end of this week, if not the end of next, we'll have a subscription service set up to where you can either get 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of coffee a month, and they just auto ship to your house. And
love it.
And so so we're working on those kinds of things too. But I appreciate all this. Yeah, Nicole. It was Nicole Kitely, my bad. Yeah, Nicole saying don't forget about our coffee soap collab. But yeah, so soaps, all sorts of stuff coming, man.
Here's a good thing, guys, right? Because we're coming up on the end of the podcast here. What I want to say is that John has done do a good thing for me here with all my listeners and all the people that are viewing, and then all the listeners are going to be on the audio format for everything. And we're going to be doing a special for the next 30 days that you can right here with the coupon code. When you type in all lowercase Liquid Shano, Liquid Shano, right in there, you get 10% off your order. So I already know that there's been about 5 or 6 people in this live right now that have commented, I'm in, I'm buying, let's go. There you go, guys. There's a big discounted percentage that John's offering to all the listeners and all the viewers.
You need to give it a second. I got to go create that code. I got to go.
Don't order it just yet. That's right.
So we talked about the code right before we went live, and I was like, I can do it, but it's got so if you're listening to this not live, you're probably good to go. But for the people right now, like, let us in and give me 10 minutes. Right,
guys, I'm gonna throw a couple ways to be able to reach out to John, or ways to be able to be there. So here's his website right here, www.javajohns.coffee. I'll also take this audio in the audio format, guys, and I'll put this in the body of the podcast. As soon as I send it out, it'll probably be tomorrow. Once it goes out, it'll be in the body. So you got the website right there. He's on TikTok. There's his TikTok name. Instagram is right there. Also, same thing, Java John's Roasting. He does have a YouTube channel as well. And if you want to reach him via email, there's his email right there, javajohnsroasting@gmail.com.
Sure.
All right, John, listen, man, I hope we can do this again sometime soon. This was a really great interview, a really great conversation. It really inspires people that really want to be the best version of themselves. Keep on, go for your dreams, right? I love that.
Right? Yeah, you got to go for them. And man, if you don't go for them, then it's all they are is dreams. So
right. And you're a great example of that. And I really appreciate you coming on the show here. And like I said, anybody else has any other comments or anything like that, I'll get them over to him. If you guys send stuff to me, I'll make sure I get it over to John. But there's the code you're going to use right there for the 10% when he gets it put in. So give it about a half hour, 45 minutes. Hopefully you guys can take the time to get it on there. But John, thanks so much for hopping on the show with me.
No worries, brother. I hope you have an awesome day.
Okay, you too. All right, guys. That wraps it up. Here we go.